Locked on Target.
Hi, crew. Welcome to this episode of, well, if you clicked on this, so you know, Hot Chocolate Chronicles. And this week, the mystery flavor that I have, and again, I haven't tasted this yet. I'm gonna guess first. So let's go ahead and figure this out. And you're like, what? If this is your first time, this is only the start of the show. We actually talk about stuff after, but right now I've got a mystery pack of stuff of hot chocolate flavor, so I'm guessing before I show you guys which it is. My wife makes them for me during this process, and then I guess what the package is. So let's drink. I have no clue what that is. It's hot chocolate. Oh. Tastes kind of like a European chocolate. I'm going to go with truffle, maybe. Let's see. What? What? Doesn't taste like caramel. You lie. You are a liar package. But, no, yeah. Evidently it's caramel. So, yeah, I failed that one. Oh, so we got lots of family news, not so much video game news this time around, because this has been a slow week for video games. But really there hasn't been much at all as far as video game news. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 released. I don't care because I don't play those games. But I know that's about the only meaningful news. I did see an article on Kotaku when I was doing research for this show. I went to pretty much every news site that I knew because I didn't hear any news that reached me on Twitter or Reddit or anything like that. So I'm like, well, maybe the official guys have some type of news and whatever. So I checked Escapist, I checked GameSpot, I checked pretty much everyone trying to find some news article to comment about for this show. And nothing. There is literally nothing. Other than some guy over in Kotaku got a full release of Windows 10 and put it into his machine and said it installed in 10 to 15 minutes on an older, semi-old computer, and that it works fantastic. And it actually does its job this time around, other than Windows 8, which is I'm stuck on this machine, where half the things don't work when I plug them in, and all sorts of madness. And again, I bought the machine with Windows 8 on it, knowing that Windows 10 would be coming soon. So, my prayers have almost been answered. I will almost get this Windows 8 off. And Windows 8's not that bad. It's just Windows 10 promises so much more and is so much more that I'm like, I just want to get to Windows 10 and DirectX 13 or 14, whatever heck DirectX we've been on now, or I don't know what number we're on now. I think we're on 12, so I think the new one's 13. But I'm looking forward to having multiple different graphics cards work in my machine. Granted, the motherboard's not going to support another PCI Express slot, or it just doesn't have one. So I'm stuck with single card configuration until I switch that out, or if I ever switch that out. But anyways, let's have another drink and get started with the family news, because there's actually plenty of stuff there. I don't care what you say. That doesn't taste... Well, okay, that kind of tastes like caramel now. But now I know it's caramel. But if you had told me, is that caramel? No, this does not taste like caramel. Anyways, my baby girl is doing good. She actually, I don't know if to count this as her actual first steps, but she took 1 and 2 and then 1 and 2 and then grabbed onto my wife. But she took 2 steps or 2 feet ups and downs. I don't know if I'd call them steps because she didn't really move without holding on to anything. And she kind of moved like an inch forward. But so she may or may not have had her first steps, depending on whose perspective you ask. I think she did, but I'm waiting for a more... she isn't doing it routinely now. That was one time, and she hasn't done it since. So it's kind of like, we'll see. But my wife did manage to get some hours from her old place of work. Again, she's kind of contract work, so they just ran out of contracts. So we are getting hours there, but that just means that my life completely turned upside down and whatnot, and production schedules and whatever are weird. But she is working at night, so during the day, I generally watch Abigail, except next week. She has like 4 days where I'm on my day shift with Abigail again. So I do have enough Let's Plays recorded, backlogged to keep up the normal schedule until she kind of is out of work again. Um, and that type of thing. So you won't notice any difference, but thank God for just giving us some hours right now because I don't want to get into finances, but our bank accounts were starting to get pretty darn low to the point where I couldn't use my credit card because I'm too lazy to go in and change it to stop from auto drawing the full amount type thing. Um, and if I spent on my card and we paid off the whole thing, it would put the bank balance in negative. So I'm glad we have some funds coming in. Um, it's just it's frustrating. Oh, my wife did pass her social work test. Yay! So she is now in the review board process. So she's not officially licensed to practice social work, but she did pass her test. So that was big. That's huge. So that means she can be working in her major officially in the state, which means we might actually have some income. I mean, social work doesn't really give income that much, but even if you put it in perspective, when I was working for AT&T in one of their subsidiary companies, I was maybe making 24,000 a year, working full time with overtime. With her, it's different because she can get a government job, make with her degree, make around 35, anywhere from 35 to 60,000. So that's more money than our family's gonna have, whatever, and it might actually be enough to support the family where I can still be doing the channel regardless of making money. But as it stands right now, the channel will always be a hobby for me. I'm not going away, but there might be changes to the schedule, like a year out, if I don't take off until I get further out, and that type of thing. Because again, I have a year to get this to really take off. Not saying I'm forcing you guys, like, oh, I'm not going to push you guys to sub or anything, but that's what my family has given me to do this kind of full time. I spend 40 to probably 50 hours on the channel a week, easily. But after that year period, I will probably spend something like 20 to 30. All right, more of a part time thing than full time. So I'll still be here. Just I won't have time to do like these huge art revamps that I did this last week or anything like that, or rebranding. I'll have to outsource that. But given that my wife might have money, I might actually be able to pay. Our family might have money, not in the next few months or whatever, but eventually. I might actually be able to pay people to do commissions for me, like Anna, or actually probably just Anna, because I trust her. And tell you the truth, I would trust her with all of my commissions. So, in case you guys don't know who Anna is, she is on my featured page for Hickville Productions. She's in the podcast with me. She's a digital artist, does a fantastic job. I love her work. Everyone loves her work that I know of, and I highly recommend reaching out to her. She doesn't have open commissions like formally, but if you ask her, she'll still do commission work generally. So she's not too busy yet. I would definitely commission her in a day, any day that I get the money. I would definitely commission Anna. So let's drink, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the games I have been playing. Thank you for taking another drink with us. And I wanted to talk about retro games in general and indie games. So me and Eternal Shard were having a discussion about indie games the other day, and if we can't make news, we can't don't have video game news. I'm still gonna bring in a decent discussion for you guys. Eternal Shard and I were having a discussion the other day about retro and indie games and how he just if he sees indie, it's just a turnoff now. It just means incomplete subs, experience because he got real big into the Kickstarter thing. I never really did Kickstarter or early access games because I could evaluate where a game was at just by the trailer and release notes and know that adding my experience in game design, even though I have not put out a game yet, has taught me you need X, Y, and Z resources to finish a game. Okay? So I can look at a game, evaluate how long it would take me to add those, or if it's even feasible for a team that size to add a feature, such as randomly generated content and things like that. And I'm like, well, I know a little bit about this. I'm not saying I'm a master, okay? But I have spent time learning these things, and I can gauge accurately more than I would think the general populace, if a team can put together what they promise. And I make better decisions than that. He sometimes, I'm not saying he makes bad decisions. Don't hear that, Eternal Shard, if you're watching this. You make good decisions, but I don't believe the hype as much. I'm very critical, especially of when someone promises me the world and comes through with nil. I make bad decisions. I bought Destiny, for instance. I thought, when I played the public beta, it was so fun that I was going to love that game, but little did I know they gave me half the game in the beta. You know what I mean? I get it. I understand it. I understand that fear, but still, some of the indie games that I've been playing lately have been fantastic. They're the people that are trusting me with the reviews to do on 20 minutes a game, and I got to thank you so much to my early game developers like Puny Human and Foot in the Box and all of my earlier people that trust me even when I'm a small channel. I will remember that, and I will forever follow you guys on your social medias and whatnot and keep up with your games. And, I will support that because you supported me. You wanted to step into a channel and help out a smaller channel, and I will remember that. And the games I have been playing, I've still treated with objective analysis, and they're genuinely fun for the price tags associated with them if I give them a good review. You're going to see this week my first negative 20 minutes a game, okay? And it is, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's a PewDieBait game that I got a review copy for. That's going to be fun. It was very hard for me to survive 20 minutes in that game. Very, very, very hard, but I did it for the cause. I did it for you guys. Oh, like it still makes me shudder thinking about it. Oh my gosh. But that's coming out this week. So I'm debating whether or not to even put it up, but I have to be fair. I have to put it up there. You don't need to watch the whole 20 minutes a game. 20 minutes a game is not a watch the whole thing. I want you to watch enough for you guys to get the idea that I like this game, don't like this game, whatever this game, and then leave the rest. But man, does it hurt. It's painful. It is painful. And if you want to watch me be in pain, then please tune in for the whole thing. But, it hurts. Okay, but I'll stop that. I will stop that because I will rant about that game forever. And we are not ranting. Well, actually, this whole show is kind of a rant this time. My apologies. But at least we talked a little bit about that. But what indie games, to draw back to indie games, what indie games are you looking forward to? I'm looking for the full release of Chasm and of Galicide, and the next Galicide releases on the 27th, and so I'm looking forward to that. There was that Castlevania one that came out. I applied for a review copy. I mentioned it on the podcast. It's like Ozymandias or something. Not Ozymandias, the literary figure, but it was a Castlevania one. Now I'm just looking here. Did I add it? No, of course I didn't add it. I did not add it to my wish list like I thought I did. My apologies. But I did see another thing I want to talk about. Axiom Verge. I did not realize that this is released on PC so soon. So I was like, man, I'm going to wait for Axiom Verge and blah, 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 because I'm looking forward to Axiom Verge on PC. And then I was telling Eternal Shard about it the other day. He's like, dude, it's out. I'm like, I thought it was a PS exclusive for like in the next year. But yeah, it's $20, and sorry, I just don't have the resources to spend $20 on an indie game right now. With our financial institutions. So when we get money, that's probably going to be the first game I'm going to buy. Is Axiom Verge. For that, and it's just generally a great game. There's a ton of indie games that I'm like, man, you guys are getting to the point where I have to consider you on the same level of AAA. And I'm not saying I don't throw them in AAA, but I generally gauge if this is a 3-person team, this is all they can accomplish with like a $10,000 budget. I take that into account in my reviews. And I tell them, this is X, Y, and Z, but games like Galicide are blurring the line for me between AAA quality of art and gameplay. It feels like an Ubi art game. You know what I mean? Like that's how it feels, as like a major publisher got behind this and poured money into it, but to be a niche game. We're seeing more games like that coming out of the indie scene, and I'm just happy that indies are getting respectable, and it's not just all platformers all the time or all space shooters all the time. But there have been some good space shooters. I've really liked this one that I've been reviewing, and I'm not ready to do the 20 minutes a game on it, but this one gets my Hot Chocolate Chronicles seal of approval. It's Starship Rubicon. And it's just a complex enough game that I can't really. I want to play it more before I do. I do it, but it mixes kind of a Star Fox mission system where you kind of like have branching paths that you can choose to face the galaxy with a top-down shooter and a mercenary recruitment system. And man, there's a lot of depth in that game that I just love. So I'm on that. I'll probably record that this week. I might get it up later this week. But I will say I did get a review copy from it. And I highly, highly recommend you check out that. Not because I got a review copy, but because it's a legitimately good game. And I would even put it up there on one of my favorite games I played this year. Again, that's Starship Rubicon, and sorry, I'm not trying to shill games, but I'm just trying to say these are games I've been really enjoying out of the indie scene that you should check out if you have any interest in following indie games. So, sorry if you guys didn't make the list. Pretty much 20 minutes a game. If you guys want to keep up with that, you'll find out my opinions there more so than this. Well, actually, I'll probably talk about it too, but... Oh, one last thing. I kind of rage quit Scrolltopia, and that episode might be up. I might not show where I raged for like 5-10 minutes before I just stopped playing it. But I'm going back and forth about uploading the rage video, or just continuing on. Yeah, it's gotten to the point where it's just too frustrating to play, I think, even for my tolerance level of those things. So, yeah, I like Scrolltopia, but not with its controls, not with that controls. Anyways, Thank you for more of a laid back Hot Chocolate Chronicles and listening to me talk for a little bit. If you guys have any discussion you want to bring to the table about indie games that you've been playing, which ones you've enjoyed, any of the thoughts of on 20 minutes a game, because I'm still looking for feedback about was it good, was it not good, is this format awesome to you? Do you guys like the timer? X, Y, and Z. I'm looking for feedback because that's a newer show, and thank you guys for tuning in, and let's share a drink. All right. Until we meet again, stay on target.